In order to buy a farm that's about to go bankrupt, the rich man disguised as a laborer to approach the young woman farmer. But after a period of contact, he can't help but fall in love with this beautiful and strong girl. As the deadline for the mission approached, Mike realized he couldn't go on like this. Just as he was about to confess everything to Annie, Annie's mother had an accident. Luckily, she survived. But Mike understood that the family couldn't take any more changes. So he made a bold decision. He tore up the contract to buy the farm and hung up on his mother. Then he took Annie for a drive on the highway through town, and then they went out on the grass and drank homemade wine. They talked to each other about their pasts and their dreams. They couldn't help but kiss. But a serious test was about to come. Mike's erratic behavior soon attracted his mother's attention. The next day, his mother came to the farm herself. At the same time, Annie received a message from a friend. It was full of news about Mike in California. Just as Annie was shocked, Mike's mother arrived at the house. She was blunt about Annie's financial situation and that she would increase her offer. If Annie accepted the offer, all her debt problems would be solved. Annie's mother couldn't bear to see her daughter struggle any longer, so she decided to compromise. But Annie still refused to sign.
We will look over the contract and get back to you.
You have 24 hours, dear. This is the best choice and you know it. Don't let your pride get in the way of a smart decision.
I'll see you to the door.
After the woman left, Annie went to Mike in a rage and asked him why he had lied to her, despite Mike's best efforts to explain, and offered to work with Annie to solve the problem. But in her pride, Annie said mean things to Mike, so Mike had no choice but to leave town. But when he was packing, the butler found a bottle of leftover wine. Manny picked it up and took a sip, and as a veteran wine drinker, he was shocked because it was the best wine he'd ever tasted. When they found out it was brewed at Annie's farm, they immediately came up with a great idea. They took the bottle to a winery to have it evaluated. The sommelier was very pleased with the flavor of the wine. Mike was so happy, he went back to the farm quickly and told Annie about the idea of turning the farm into a vineyard.
Your dad was right. These grapes, the wine, they can help save your ranch. Now I know a guy, and he can come out here, he can sample the wine, and he'll tell you what the grapes are worth.
By now, Annie was desperate. She had no choice but to take Mike's advice. The next day, a sommelier was invited to the site. He examined the vines. Then he went to the wine cellar on the farm. After tasting the wine in the cellar, he immediately offered Annie a lease, and his offer was more than enough to tide the farm over. Not only that, Annie would get a share of every year's wine sales. The problem of the farm not being able to make ends meet would be solved. After everything was settled, Mike called his mother and apologized for damaging the company's interests. But the mother wasn't angry. She was happy for her son, because it was the first time she'd ever seen Mike take something so seriously. It proved that she had made the right decision to send Mike to the country. On Christmas Day, Annie was taken by her mother and sister to a storehouse, and the moment she opened the door, she was shocked by what she saw. The mother told her that it was all Mike's doing. Mike apologized to Annie for his behavior and expressed his feelings about his time on the farm.
Listen, Callie, I want you to know the entire time that I was working for you, it sucked. It was the absolute worst. You know, I was cold, I was tired, and I smelled like a cow's ass the entire time. But it was the best time of my life. And I'd give anything to go back to that.
Oh, your position's been filled.
Okay.
But I might be able to figure out something for you to do.
And that's how Mike became the new owner of the farm. And they successfully transformed the farm into a vineyard, and they lived a carefree life.